Interesting.
How is their record with like 2D platformers so far? Because I imagine they've had a fair few. So Vi came first in Dino City, second in Super Valis 4. Uh, and then they played each other in Rats, which was kind of 2D platformer. Um, which I want to say Vi won that. Yeah, because Vi won the set and lost Gomala speed. So Vi
Hmm.
won Rats, and then that's a. I guess Monster Tale was a 2D platformer, kind of. The DS one, I think it was, that Vi and Mario played. And then Wyrm has also had. I think Mobility was a side scroller platformer thing. Wyrm came third. Daisy Dangerous, Wyrm beat Riley in that one. Like I say, Lost in Rats, and then Deep the Game. Was that one a side scroller? I don't remember much of Deep the Game at this point.
I don't
Um,
remember much of many games. The only other matchup I commentated on was Vi versus Worm.
right, yeah. Um, and then Rainbow Island Worm won, but that one's a little different from the average platformer, I think.
Hmm.
So I guess going over their past games, I would probably narrowly give the edge to Vi, but very narrowly.
Hmm. We float together or we stick together.
Okay, yeah. Apparently there are just like no way to test. There's no way to test controls without just starting the game. So they're just gonna both go in and hope their controls are working.
And if not, then they're gonna, I guess, cry. Do you cry then, or do you?
Oh, does work. Okay.
Mhm. You
All
want
right.
to use custom keyboard controls? Good luck. What?
Oh, we also have no audio yet, but I assume that's just a title screen thing.
Yeah, I'm assuming so, since I hear nothing from Worm. But I am hearing 3 pops every so often.
Yeah, I think that's part of just like Worm stream setup thing
Hmm.
for the dongo.
Uh, quite cool.
Alrighty. Time for busting. Damn, I need to find
So
a Ghostbusters game to put.
defeat the night boss in 4-4. So by the sounds of things, we are going to be busting at things.
Yeah, I quick Googled. It looks very, very like so very Metroidvania and more on the
Hmm.
Castlevania side of that. Although closer, I guess, to like Ghouls and Ghosts. Oh, this is slow moving.
Hmm.
So a reminder that your sword meter runs out at the bottom. and you can see it refilling over time. But also, you have this like slide, and while you're sliding, it charges a lot. And also, you slide further if you double jump. Also, this is unbelievably quiet.
Vi is one hit away from death, and that is death.
So, does every enemy just do 1 damage, or have there been?
So. It's I don't know. Is the thing.
Yeah. All right, Wyrm's on to 1-2.
Well, not all enemies die in 1 hit.
Oh. Okay, but if you die, yeah, back to the start of the stage you're on. I assume if they run out of lives, they go back to... running out of lives gives you a timer to continue, which has the same effect as any other life, continues or unlimited. So, yeah, there is a very, very low penalty for dying here. And I guess the biggest difference so far is that Vi died at the end of 1-1, and Wyrm died at the start of 1-2. So, Wyrm losing way less time with that death than Vi did. The slide looks like a ton of fun, to be fair.
If you can master it, yeah. Like, you could just speedrun this game with that slide. Because I think it's also faster.
Yeah. Especially the double jump one. Goes further, is faster, I think. Oh, that is a lot of damage on Vi's side there. Ooh, got a good slide, but took a hit for it. No! Oh no!
But
Both of them taking...
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying, both of them taking deaths there in pretty unfortunate ways.
I saw Vi die on
like
the live speed. I
a
didn't
perfect... Yeah, perfect jump over the platform, like, timed it perfectly, waited for the platform, and then just jumped over it.
No, I got a perfect sort of action replay look at what happened by looking over at my main monitor where the stream is.
Oh, I'm very nearly sliding off the edge there. Doesn't, stays up. And gets a full health refill.
Ooh, so they do exist.
That plant is... that is rude. Alright.
I nearly got her. Nearly fell down a platform.
First boss on Wyrm's side here, we have this giant spider.
It sounds like Pokemon battle music.
Oh. Was a death for Wyrm, so both entering this boss fight. Ah, you can attack the webs down. That is good information. So I guess if your sword charges faster while you're sliding, while you are doing nothing, while the webs have been shot and you're just like waiting, and there we go, we see Wyrm doing it. Wyrm sliding around the screen to recharge the sword meter.
Which is probably going to kill the boss sooner. as well.
I mean, yeah, like, you're not hitting it with the slides ever, but just having that better attack and being able to consistently take out the webs is going to be so helpful.
I think Wyrm has grasped the idea of the game better.
Mm-hmm.
Just
I think
based on
so,
this
yeah.
early game look.
Ooh, rough position there, though.
Yeah.
Vi takes a death.
So between a rock and a hard place.
No health bar for the boss, which is...
Like, how much health does this boss have?
Oh, it's getting so much faster, though, that Wyrm doesn't have time to recharge now.
Or if you do recharge, it's going to be 1 every 2 phases.
Yep. But does make it through, just took a bit of careful dodging in the later phases.
This is quite a cool game.
I like the mechanic. I like the slide sword meter thing. Like the idea that if you just sit there and attack relentlessly, you'll be weaker. Oh, no, what? Oh. Yeah, like, the idea that you can't just sit there and spam attacks, you have to kind of buy yourself a bit of time and a window to slide around to build it back up, and... Like, you have a pretty good attack, but it's on a resource, it's on a limit. Oh! One. Managed to avoid falling off into the water by turning around and jumping into the enemy attack that was still there, which then knocked you back into the water.
Bit unfortunate.
Alright, both of them through there though, so... Oh, nope, never mind, that back takes Wyrm, so Vi pulling ahead on that one.
This level just seems a bit evil.
It's definitely set up in a way where you're going to get hit pretty regularly. But getting hit isn't fatal in and of itself. So I guess the question then is just like, how well can they recover from it? And I think Vi, I kind of missed it there, but I think Vi is on 2-2 right now.
Yep. Vi is on 2-2, whereas Wyrm is about to enter 2-2. Please get that treasure chest.
I feel like if I were in Vi's position, I'd have taken the intentional death at the start.
Yeah. Just be able to do full health.
Yeah. It's definitely one of those games where I think if I were Wyrm here, I would just run into one of these crabs. Just immediately just run in, get hit, take that loss. Oh, Wyrm going for the chest though. Not a full health this time, but invincibility or a shield at least.
Super useful to help them do that part of the stage.
Doesn't last very long at all though, so it's like basically that little platform section and that's it.
That should be plenty of time though, right?
No Rainbow Island 7 gem invincibility. For anyone who missed it, the previous round, Wyrm vs Mario, they played Rainbow Island, which is a sequel to Bubble Bobble. And Chimp apparently is like an expert in this game. And Wyrm got a permanent invincibility power-up on the final stage for the challenge they had. And it turns out the odds of that happening are unbelievably low, and Wyrm massively high rolled getting that.
Damn. Wow. Just Vi got through. No need for that invincibility.
Yeah, the invincibility almost feels like... I don't want to say it's bad, but it kind of leads you astray, because Wyrm is trying to, like, dash through and then fight the bats on the other side. And I feel like the best thing you can do is take the bats out while you're on the platform. Like, that jump, that first jump, swing.
Yeah.
Oh? Ooh. Ooh.
Ooh.
Wyrm playing a dangerous game there, but does get through those bats. And some health. Yep, we see one. There we go. Really getting the mechanic of the game there. Just taking a little bit of time there just to... Oh, never mind. To start charging up some sword gauge. They are both really struggling with this crab, though.
Yeah, I feel like these crabs are just mean and evil and...
Has Vi opened a single treasure chest yet, by the way?
Only one, and it was points. So I don't think they're going to open any more.
Oh, no. And Wyrm just found one that had health in earlier and has been...
So Wyrm has sort of gone, chests are cool. Vi's gone, chests aren't needed.
I think that's a really interesting element of the mystery games that we just kind of ignore a lot of the time as well. There is a difference. We always say, like, oh yeah, if you're starting a new game, you should just try every combination of buttons. You should, like, poke around with stuff and see how everything plays. But there's also that element of, like, when you're learning mechanics, at what point do you go, okay, this is it, and it's not going to do anything differently? And at what point are you like, okay, we'll still experiment a bit? And I think that's a really interesting element here because, yeah, Wyrm obviously opened a couple of treasure chests and found a full health refill. And Vi opened one, saw points, and went useless and has ignored every other one. Which, like, I get it.
It is that decision tree.
It's like, I get it as well, because, like, if they're just points, who cares?
That's not how you beat the game. You beat the game by just moving.
Right. But also, the fact that there's a treasure chest, you're like, well, maybe there could be more options here. So I kind of get both sides of it, of, okay, but what if the treasure chest has a power-up? Oh, it did. Cool. We get those then. Versus, well, I don't need points, so I'm not going to do the thing that gets me points. Vi makes it onto the platform. Okay. Progress. Yeah, I do think that's a good point, actually, though. If I were on this stage, I would be checking that chest at least once. You're running past it that many times. Just, like, rage stabs on the way through, and then suddenly it drops a heart, and you're like, hold on a second.
Chests equal maybe good? And then you
at that point, you start questioning it, at least. Yeah.
You then open up the chest at the start of the game, and you get the invincibility, and you're like, wait, I could have done this in a more easier way?
But Vi is, like, not having any issues with the bats.
Yeah.
There. Wyrm falls on the second crab there, I think that was. God, this is like the triple threat here. It's like the first crab where you drop down, the second crab rising up, and then the stalactite? I always forget which way round it is. Falling back.
Stalactites come from the top, I believe.
I thought that was it.
Google.
Oh, I just... Yeah, the triple threat of crab, crab, falling rock.
Okay, so stalactites are from the ceiling.
Okay, it was
Stalagmites
that way around.
come up from the ground.
Thought it was, but... Alright, well, I'm charging up a sword gauge.
Guess the first.
By waiting for the sword gauge. Alright, let's get the first stab. I think Wyrm doesn't quite have the strat on that one. But he's taking it very cautiously, but it is working.
It is, yeah, like...
This one, on the other hand...
Uh-oh. How easy is it to jump one way and then jump the other way?
I don't think the jumping is that bad to do, but I don't know if you would get enough distance to trigger it falling. Yeah, if one toys around with poking a bit more on this run, then might have a bit more luck with that crab, but... I mean, at some point you've got to, right? Because you basically did it perfectly that time, and there's just no way you can make it up. Oh. And there we go.
There we go.
So one now has to get... Yeah, no. Vi's next attempt. Oh, Vi is trying to jump back. And makes it! There we go!
It's finicky,
Okay.
but you can do it.
That
And
looks
that's the
too
end of the
far, but...
stage.
And that was it. That was, like, the last trial there, yeah.
Damn.
Alright, so 2-3. Their goal is 4-4, so we still have a lot to go. Oh! I love the slide mechanic, partially because it creates moments like this as well.
Yeah, the epic moment where you go, oops, I guess I die.
Like, oh no, wait, I shouldn't have done this, hold on. Let me go back.
Kind of reminds me of a moment in Ocarina of Time Randomizer when I picked up an item I didn't need to pick up and it was a nice trap. And it killed me.
Like,
kind of
it's just
moment.
like a classic in every game, right? Mega Man slides are the same kind of thing, where you slide and you're like, either I go off the edge, or I jump, and I go off the edge if I jump. So, alright, I guess I die. Alright, so Vi really making the most of this one. What?
Okay, this boss you could potentially slide into.
Yeah?
And it deals 2 points of damage.
Ooh. Well, I'm waiting a little late on that stab there, it looks like. I think it's... I don't know if it's that it deals 2 points, or if it's that the hitbox on it... Yeah. Because the hitbox is so wide, the invincibility, like, iframes after damage, have worn off before you can get away from the, like, falling rocks.
Vi is taking this a bit slow, a bit steady, a bit cautiously. It's working out.
Alright, Wyrm gets the Darklight, and that means we'll make it through to the end of the stage with that. Oh, and instantly falls. So, both taking a death there. One stage difference, but it was a fairly short stage.
But it took longer just because of how frustrating it can be.
Oh no, I meant, sorry, 2-3 in particular. It was fairly
Oh.
short.
It was.
So, oh, I think Wyrm thought he was going to get hit a lot further there and just try to recover
YOLO'd.
something that didn't need it. Oh, no! Oh! Okay, I'm learning that the slide mechanic might be a little bit clunky.
It's high risk, high reward.
Well, it's specifically so the way the jump mechanic works in this game is if you attack as you're about to land, you slide. Wyrm was jumping up to a platform and tried to attack during that time, and ended up sliding off the other side of the platform. Basically went up and over, and there again we see it. Wyrm tries to attack, but you can't attack if you're about to land.
And Vi is now going for the slide attack against this boss.
If nothing else, getting the sword meter up and recharging it pretty regularly.
Also quite good at dodging attacks if you miss, you know.
It's when this, like, this rat jumps, like, straight up. I keep wanting to call it Splinter. That's all I can think of looking at it.
It does look like Splinter. What if you merge Splinter and Shredder together? What do you think?
I don't know what it is. It's just something about the design screams Splinter to me at the start, and I was just like, all right, well, I guess. Oh, by taking a hit there, so it seems like a pretty long fight.
It is like without that hit bar either, and because your attacks vary based on how much power you have when you make the swing. It could take a lot longer as well. It's... Music's awesome though. Like, it reminds me of Gravity Falls a little, but it is still awesome music. Don't ask me why it reminds me of Gravity Falls specifically.
I know nothing about it, so... Well, I'm going for a big slide there and getting a lot of hits, but taking a lot of hits for it. Yeah, well, I'm on one hit already, and there it is. I'm managing to get kind of like a jumping slide there, and I'm not quite... Like, that was impressive. Started sliding as they were jumping, it looked like.
Did they get 3 hits off just then?
With the slide? Yeah.
Yeah.
One was doing it earlier, getting like 3 hits sliding into the boss. But you almost always get hit twice as a result.
Depends on how you slide, because sliding does give you invincibility.
Yes, but it's more just like...
If you end
this
your
boss
slide
has
whilst
such
in
a
the
hitbox.
Yeah, if you end whilst in the hitbox, then...
Well, if you're getting 3 hits, then you're, probably going from one side of the hitbox to the other, which means you're going to end too close and end up getting clipped by it. One with what looks like a really good strat there, and definitely a good strat. Okay. So I'm taking the lead back. Vi taking a death.
This is what we wanted to see. We wanted to see a really cool finals, and we're getting a really cool finals.
Also, this game is sweet. Like... The way I read bosses was like a workplace, and so I'm just like, in my mind, I was just like, ah yes, the corporate ladder, my one true weakness.
Vi is through.
Alright, Vi is not happy with it. You can see that in the
No.
camera there. And Wyrm onto 3-2 already, so... He's like zombie nun enemies as well. Ooh, Wyrm taking a spiky death.
Zombie nuns and guard dogs.
This stage in particular, this is very Ghouls and Ghosts or Castlevania or that kind of style, that kind of era.
Vi opened up another chest, and it turned out to be another just points chest.
Yo, Mecha?
Wait, what?
Look at them on! Those are Mecha! Okay, they're probably like zombie knights or skeleton soldiers or something, but like, their heads definitely make them look like robots.
Hmm.
I think that platform that Wyrm stood on right now exists so that you can slide the entire way. Oh, Wyrm.
Yeah, those spikes deal double damage.
I think Wyrm was only on one there.
On Vi's side.
Oh, really?
And
Okay.
on Wyrm's side, yeah, it's dealing double damage.
Oh, yeah, okay. Makes sense that it would happen eventually.
Yeah.
Oh, Wyrm got hit once and is just like, alright, time to die. Oh, by accidentally jumping down the ladder. Not quite as intended.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Vi's about to run into the same spiky path that Wyrm did, so... I would be very surprised to see Vi get through this on 2 health, but could happen, could happen.
Yeah.
Oh my god, they're in
They're
such a nonsensical order. Alright, well, Wyrm got there on full health, though. And there's a health refill right afterwards that Vi's not going to open. Oh, for a platform and nothing else. Alright, well.
Oh, they're off sync because of when they loaded in.
Oh, it's a screen scroll?
Yeah.
Oh my god. That is... yeah, that's rough. Oh, you can attack from the ladder.
Hmm.
Yeah, so those two lined up at the front there, but the third one is now... oh, Vi gets through it, though. And sees the health!
Finally! And it's through.
So I think they're both on 3-3 right now, but just different ends of the stage.
Yeah. Well, that's 3-4 now for Wyrm.
Yeah. Dragon.
Okay, so Velvagia's fighting us now.
God, this is like the most cliche, like, Arthurian legend dragon possible.
It's a fire-breathing dragon. A green fire-breathing dragon.
Ooh. Its movements look horrible, though. Well, I'm just going all-out offensive there, hoping that's enough, but... not gonna cut it. Vi on 2. Health.
These spikes will kill them if they hit them. Please don't hit them.
Are these spikes also 2 damage, do we know? Or they
yep.
are. Okay. Wasn't sure. Was that boss dying on Wyrm's side as... I think Wyrm just died as the boss was dying, and
no.
I saw some fire coming out of, like, the wings, and... You know, I don't know a lot about dragons in this world, but generally speaking, I'm pretty sure dragons are meant to breathe fire through their mouths, not their wings.
Nah, the amount of times that Wyrm had hit the dragon, there was enough exhaust vents that had been created that we ended up being able to breathe out of the wings.
Oh, that's what it is. It's actually just stabbing it through the wings so much, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Vi straight onto the spikes with that slide and back to this precise jump. But makes it through. So a boss fight on both sides. Wyrm has a bit more of a grasp of the mechanics on it, but the mechanics on it don't seem very nice. Yeah. Yeah, the slide feels like it does a ton of damage here, but then you just get caught in a corner with it and take like 4 damage in one go. Oh, one! That was impressive. Okay. Wyrm managed there to slide, jump during the slide, and go through the dragon while it was flying. So got 2 hits with a slide while taking none because of slide invincibility.
That is good.
So much damage.
Yeah.
Oh my god, Wyrm just like tore into it. That's if Wyrm can keep that up though, this looks really good for him. That slide invincibility is a big deal
powerful,
here.
Yeah. It is just super powerful.
Goes a little early on the slide on that one. Yeah, there we go. That was like the slide while it's flying and just
slide
absolutely
and
tears
slashing,
into it. Yeah.
Just that is just a beautiful technique. How much health does this dragon have?
Oh, Vi is using the slide very aggressively here, though, and playing really cautiously as a result, and taking very little damage as a result. So I actually think Vi might have a better shot with this.
Vi seems to have a game plan just settled on. Just gonna slide. And only slash when needed, and...
Just using that slide invincibility, which Wyrm is now doing a bit more, but at a point where you kind of have to. Lands another hit. Oh! So Wyrm down, and... Vi still with 5 here. Thanks. Oh, 4.
3.
Oh no. I shouldn't have said anything.
Commentator's curse.
But no, this is, Vi's been playing this very cautiously up to that point and has a really good plan here, but it's also a very slow plan. So I think Vi is... Yeah, I think Vi is more likely to beat the fight sooner. But when Wyrm beats it, it'll be very, very quick. And the question is just... You know, Wyrm can probably do 2 or 3 attempts in the time it'll take Vi to do 1 at this pace. So if it takes Wyrm, you know, 5 attempts to Vi's 3, Wyrm comes out ahead on that, probably.
fact that sliding also deals damage and helps recharge your sword faster.
Mm-hmm. Like, it's surprisingly strong.
Mm.
Like, one mechanic that kind of does everything. But it's a mechanic, like, it seems like it's... When I read the pastebin, I was like, oh, the slide charges your sword gauge, and you're invincible while you do it. Oh, and it's faster movement, and it just looked like it was... Well, what's going to stop you just sliding everywhere?
Mm.
But the game is very carefully set up to stop you just sliding everywhere, it looks like, which is impressive, honestly.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going for a bunch of attacks there, hoping to get the kill, I think, and does not, and...
It
This
is a
dragon has
very
a lot of health.
Yeah, it is a very aggressive game plan, and I think the aggression is helping.
Yeah, I think it's, like, it's working out really nicely sometimes,
Mm.
but, like, it's just got way more health than it feels like it should have, so in some situations it's just ending up costing him a bit more because he's going really hyper-aggressive and it's just shrugging it off and killing him for the trouble.
Mm.
This looks a lot more defensive right now. Oh, I say that and then... Alright! Alright, Wyrm! Oh, that height you can just stand perfectly under it and not get hit by its attack.
Whereas if
Well,
it's
I'm really-
slower, you can then slide into it on the way towards you and deal masses of damage.
Wyrm is definitely getting a grasp on... Oh, there it is!
Ooh.
Yep. On the positioning was the end of that
Yeah.
sentence. Slide out of town. Don't know? Maybe? Oh, I like the music already.
We're in a cave.
It's like a... Is it a forest?
It's more like a forest, yeah, but like the ground makes it look like it's a cave, but the background makes it look like it's a forest.
The music made me think it was a cave because I'm used to this being like a crystal cave or something.
Yeah,
in
like it's a
RPGs.
Mm. You just entered the mines in Pokemon. Kind of deal.
Three!
Wait, 3? Oh no.
Oh, but that was the end of that screen.
Bad to see that enemy still only dealt 1 damage.
Yeah, it was like the giant bouncing rocks that did...
Mm.
Oh, well, I'm getting clipped back out of damage recoil there off the edge. Vi with a little bit of work to do to catch up here, but okay, this music is really good.
Albania vibes, I think. There's definitely that Metroid, that sort of. I'm just enjoying the music. It sounds really cool.
Yeah, I definitely big Castlevania vibes for sure on
Mm.
this one. Oh, treasure chest. Health. Alright. Little unnecessary, but
Yeah.
one point of health refill is a point of health refill nonetheless.
Mm-hmm.
If I actually opens that chest, did see that the last one was actually good.
Who knows that some of them could be good. Given the health of Vi, probably.
They landed on the edge there next to the plant, and then I think was still panicking because oh god, get past the enemy and move forwards into it. Made it on that one. And does grab the chest, does get the health refill. So those ceiling spikes... Oh god, Wyrm is in a rough place here. Another chest that gives you a shield, it looks like, but not one that helped, amazingly.
It was more helpful than you think.
Well, assuming the ceiling spikes are actually spikes, it might have been pretty good. But the enemies nearby causing a lot of problems with the crumble blocks. And those ceiling spikes aren't spikes, okay.
Yeah.
Oh. Wait, was that knockback on Wyrm's side? I thought he had the shield up.
I saw on Vi's side, I thought they had the shield up too.
Alright, well they are neck and neck right now then. Back to basically even. I'm waiting a little too long for the sword gauge there. Let's get a bit of a recharge though. Oh. Well, I'm doubling back to try and dodge the enemy projectiles and... Oh, and Vi just makes it through!
Ooh, that slide, I think, helped. And then...
Vi is on form right now, this is...
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, 4-4! This is the final stage! This is the boss they have to beat!
This is the night that they need
Has
to
Vi just pulled this back?
Potentially. And that knight's not taking any damage from slides.
At least at the start there, that might have just been a kind of opening sequence. But...
No, it's just not taking damage at all.
Okay,
Oh,
no,
now
yeah,
is.
it does take... Is it no damage from the front? Yeah.
No damage from the
You
front.
have to hit it from behind. Well, I'm getting clipped by a projectile again. Your shield does not protect from those projectiles.
So now we understand the mechanics of this boss.
This one
And you-
doesn't seem as bad, but... Oh, I say that, and then... Yeah. Iframes are a little awkward for it. Well, I'm really needing to either slide off that final ice platform there, or attack and kill the enemy going forwards. Which means probably full sword gauge. Oh my god, I didn't see that platform that Wyrm was on until now.
Vi used it, I think, in their last run. So...
Ah, I missed that, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I've just seen them, like, both trying to just dodge around that bouncing rock, and it's like, oh, jump up here.
I'm liking Vi's strategy of 5 hits on the boss and then slide when it turns around.
I mean, yeah, I think that's basically the best way to approach this, right? Is like, get some hits in while you can, but you have to be able to slide past it, and Vi wins!
That is it!
Wow!
That is game.
That-
At least for the mystery tournament.
Is impressive, yeah, no, Vi really coming back from behind in that one was definitely struggling for most of that, but these last couple of stages kind of held Wyrm up quite a bit, and yeah, Vi carrying it through and celebrating a little. That was it, that's best of 3, so... and Vi's on winner's side.
That's the game.
Yeah, One really having an unfortunate and gets through that section now. Really having an unfortunate section in this game in particular. But yeah, like it just goes to show how kind of evenly matched everything was. Like it took those issues for Vi to take this. If if the final stage was 3-3 instead of 4-4, sorry, 3-4 instead of 4-4, one would have won. And yeah, we saw this in their previous match as well. Vi took an early lead in Gomela speed, but Wyrm took the win, because Vi got caught on the final boss of it. And then Wyrm got tripped up on rats, and yeah, like ridiculously close.
This is why that they are in the grand finals, though. It's because of how even they are, and unfortunately, at this level, if you are this even, you're going to, one small slip-up is going to be costly. And that's the case here. It has been costly for Wyrm. Oh, you actually hear that it's dealing no damage.
So we will wait until Wyrm's done before we bring both in. But that shouldn't be too long. This boss definitely... It's weird that this boss felt like the easiest of the four.
But we know how to beat the boss now.
I mean, yeah, although it's more that like it has a very obvious pattern to it. Whereas the others were a little more unpredictable. The dragon in particular was very unpredictable, but even like the rat would occasionally sometimes just jump on the spot. And there it is, Wyrm with the finish. And
that is GG's to both our runners.
alrighty. Hello, hello.
Hello.
Hello, and GG's.
GG's. What a game.
It was a beautiful game to watch.
That game seemed really fun. You know what? We'll ignore Pandemonium. Pandemonium didn't exist. These two games were great.
I don't know if you noticed this. Maybe that's something that you can deal with, but you cannot change your direction in midair at all unless you use a double jump, which then locks you in a different direction. And that was so annoying in this game. But,
you gotta plan ahead. You gotta
plus the
plan carefully.
knockback and stuff like that, yeah.
And welcome up.
Hello.
Jeez.
Yeah, game.
So, yeah, we're ignoring Pandemonium for this one. Not just because of like the issues, but also because that game just looked bad. That just looked like a really bad game. But ignoring the joys of Pandemonium, these two were two fun games for the finals. They seemed like really interesting games to have.
Wyrm, did you enjoy this last one? Because I didn't.
It was like a worse version of Super Ghosts and Goblins. I
That
really
was
don't like that the game gives you 0 uh ranged options. It's
Oh,
really tough.
my biggest problem was, or like the thing that I hated the most about it, that I'm glad that we've forgotten by now, is the lack of mid-air directional control. You could change your direction by double jumping, which was at least something. It was nice, but other than that, there was no mid-air way to change your momentum mid-air.
I
And
feel
plus the
like
knockback, I really was reminded of Castlevania, which is a series that
Mhm.
or like a game that I do enjoy on the NES, but I enjoy it like not conditionally, but like I enjoy it because everything else is good.
those were
And
definitely
everything
the
else is not good here.
comparisons
Yeah.
we made as well on our end, were Golden Ghosts and Castlevania. But like, I feel like if you had kind of free movement throughout the air in this, it would be really easy. Because your slide
Maybe.
is so powerful. But
I didn't
the
know
point-
how to cancel out of it.
You can, I think.
Yeah, I
think you
agree.
can't.
I think the answer
Yeah.
is you can't. If
right,
you jump once,
except
yeah.
by jumping, which means that if you could change direction after jumping, it would be free. You would just slide everywhere.
You can't jump out of a slide, right?
I thought you could. It looked like you could
You-
from our
I don't
end.
think
But...
that
You can if you
Oh, okay.
buffer a jump, which will then mean that you carry over the momentum at the end. But it
Right,
still
okay.
has to go through the entire slide animation.
Does the entire
first.
slide then jumps. Okay, that
Yeah.
didn't come across watching.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And the slide was annoying because you had to like time it.
Well, it was annoying about that, but it was also annoying in that you had to avoid that window sometimes.
Yes,
Yes,
that we definitely
also
saw a
died.
lot. There was one in particular, Wyrm, where you were jumping up to a platform and it just slid up onto the platform and over the whole thing and down off the other end. And we were like, all right, cool, that was good. When you were, it was one of the fish. One of the fish was jumping out the water and you just went straight up and over the platform. We were like, I don't even know how you managed to slide there, but cool.
Yeah. I remember, the fish was bad. I was not cognizant of how large the hitbox for the sword is.
Mhm.
Like, I kind of know where it is, but it wasn't immediately apparent. And so, like, at least in 2 of them, I just got walled because you were supposed to, like, Mega Man on a platform and then hit the enemy
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Um,
There was definitely that one section with crab, then stalactite, where both of you got held up for a while. You had to, like, down stab the first crab, kind of jump and poke the second, and then jump forwards and jump back again for the stalactite, and it's like...
Yeah. At least that's when I learned that you could, like, change your direction in midair by double jump.
As it trolls you at the end. There was a Kaizo block right at the end of that stupid section.
Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. Maybe I didn't hit that.
So, because it's the 2 crabs platforming, and then at the very end there's a stalactite that falls from the ceiling.
Oh yeah, I died to that.
And so it's like that's like the cherry on top. It's like, oh, you finally finished that section. Do it again.
Yeah, I think that was the section that I took the longest on. Probably for you as well, I'm guessing.
The shield section, the second to last screen, took me a really long time. I think that because you couldn't figure out how long the shield lasted. Because, like, at the end, you're kind of still flashing, and then you just run out of iframes.
Yeah.
So the first time that I did that section, I got hit, I guess, in, like, the last 3 frames of my invincibility running out. And so I was like, okay, maybe it wants me to attack these idiots.
I feel like I should clarify here. This is the section in 4-3 with the, like, ice crumble blocks.
Yeah.
The reason I say that is because so, as a general rule, Wyrm, you had a much, much better time with the boss fights, and then a much harder time with the platforming sections. If the goal had been 3-4 and not 4-4, you'd have won.
I believe that.
But that section in particular, we were like, you're a little bit ahead on that, and we were going, okay, cool, platform up. Here's this awful, like, this section where you have a shield, but these projectiles seem like they still knock you back even with the shield.
That's what happened there, Wyrm, by the way. I think the invincibility just saves you health. It doesn't stop the knockback from occurring.
Well,
So you just had to find a way to dodge the projectiles while...
Yeah.
And
Or
I was going to
holding
say,
or something.
on your, like, second attempt reaching that section, you just kind of slid onto the last ice block and went straight down under the enemy onto the platform and carried on.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. You didn't have to. Yeah, I guess the platform was lower. Oh, that's interesting.
That was definitely a moment that was not planned. There were moments in this game where it was just like you lucked into some sort of solution that you're probably never going to be able to reproduce. Now be sure that you don't die. And then you never look back.
That's how I felt about my win in Bubble Bobble 2.
Yes.
It's because apparently Chimp came in and said that I just got extremely lucky. Because that invincibility lasted forever, and I was like, oh, okay, I guess it's free now.
So also Power Shovel. I knew bits and pieces about Power Shovel going in, but that game is a trip. Big Katamari vibes.
So I walked downstairs to fill my water, and I told my roommate that I had played Power Shovel, and they were like, oh yeah, that game is much easier with the controller. Apparently it comes with like a shovel controller that like makes it much more intuitive as to what you're doing.
So yeah, I think it might have been an arcade game originally, and that would kind of add up to have the kind of novelty controller in an arcade as part of a machine.
Yeah, so yeah, I was told that the game is incredibly difficult on a regular controller, but the novelty controller makes it like very intuitive as to what you're doing. Yeah, but that game was definitely, I thought about multiple times during it, I should just flip these controls, because these controls are exactly backwards as to how I like things. I almost always use, when I'm doing hands-on stick and throttle games, I reverse the X and I reverse the vertical. So every time I pressed X, I was expecting the crane to go down, but it goes up, and I was like, this makes me really mad.
Yeah.
But both were really close. I mean, I think just a few minutes separated us.
Yeah.
Yeah? What was it? 4 minutes-ish in each of them. Yeah, about 4 minutes each.
Yeah.
Not my favorite set of games, but hey, I won, so what do I have to complain about, right?
Ignoring Pandemonium, they looked fun games and games that I would want to play. And if there was a Mystery Tournament number 2, I would want to take part in.
I feel like even if those games weren't the kind of games you enjoyed, they are like games that showed promise, even if they were let down by like one big flaw.
You know what? I'm gonna put my foot down. I think Pandemonium was the best game out of the three.
Oh no!
No, absolutely not. Pandemonium.
Give me one more life, and that game is great.
Hold on. Firstly, the hitboxes in that game looked horrendous. The double jump looked horrendous.
Some of them just
Um,
doesn't work. I don't.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, I got it.
you were
to work
saying
in
you were
most of the
saying
time.
there's a timing window, right?
Yeah, there is.
Okay, that makes sense. I
um,
That's the exact game I remember when we first discussed. I think in the group stages or something, I came on and said the only thing that I don't ever want to see in Mystery Tournament is like a bad. I said PSP platformer, but this one was
Same thing.
exactly. I was like, I do not want to play this game. It is exactly every single Mystery Tournament I get knocked out from one of these games. It was just really, and then the password system was
Okay,
like
I mean,
the kick in the teeth.
I agree with that, of course.
we did see the opening cutscene as well, by the way, on that side, and that was Jesus, Resident Evil levels of voice acting.
It did not look good.
It started talking about William Shatner in the opening cutscene.
Oh, I didn't see that at all. Like, I didn't.
Yeah,
listen to
no,
that at all. That's
it's-
hilarious.
Yeah.
It's
Um,
very strange. It like drops
Yeah.
you into a plot and then doesn't provide a hook that you care about. They just start talking about things and it's like, all right, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I think I can admit to myself that the shovel game, the crane game, or like the the shovel game, that was probably better. I don't tend to like that kind of game that has like a billion controls and like you have to like that's a big thing, right? There's like 4 different axes of control plus movement, which is also really hard because it requires 4 buttons in total. So there's like 10 buttons at least that you all need, and I don't tend to like that sort of thing. But I think that game is definitely. I mean, that game is probably better than Pandemonium. I just didn't enjoy it. The third game, though, I like hard games where it feels like there's a lot of control taken away from you. But usually, the way that those games go, like I'm thinking about like Getting Over It, for example, is you still have a full range of control and movement. It's just that your character sucks, I guess. But that game felt more like if I jump, I have nothing that I can do for the next 2 seconds to influence anything, and that kind of thing is not. I'm glad that we've forgotten about that as a
Yeah, Pandemonium. What game was that?
That last
I-
game.
Hmm?
That last game did a good job though with the last boss. The last boss where it gives you just enough room to do the double jump.
last boss was cool. Yeah, I thought the
Yeah.
bosses were really cool in general. I had some trouble with them, but that was more like a learning curve. I had to get used to their patterns. At some point, I realized the bosses get faster about their animations. The more you damage them, and at that point, you have to sort of adjust your speed of doing things as well. I thought the bosses were all pretty fun, honestly, in that game.
Yeah, I agree. And coming from Pandemonium, at least the controls were tight. If I pressed the button, I knew it was gonna come out. So that was like a relief to me because the double jump was really important, right? And
Yeah.
in Pandemonium, yeah, you just didn't know whether or not your double jump was going to come out. In this game, the double jump was going to come out, and it gives you a little bit of that control in the air.
Well, in Pandemonium, you had full emotional control in midair, right? But
Yeah.
But in yeah, I mean, I guess I'm just lucky in the sense that I had about as much trouble with the double jump in Pandemonium as I had to get the slide to activate in this game, this last game. If that makes sense, like they were both on like a couple of frames window, sort of, to execute them, and I similarly got both of them like 80% of the time by the end. But
Gotcha. Yeah, the slide mechanic was something that I didn't have trouble with. But the hitbox of the sword, I had a lot of trouble. Like, in any of these games, if I get a choice between a sword and a ranged weapon, I'm almost always using the ranged weapon. I just like can't properly understand the hitbox of melee weapons.
That makes sense.
But yeah, I would have absolutely adored. If we got this is like when we had DK's Jungle Beat for the Mystery Tournament Finals, of which I have the 4 bongos.
Oh.
So
that's kind of incredible.
If we had the crane whatever the truck game.
Bigger.
Yeah. If we had that with the controller, I think I would have been very, very happy, even if I lost.
I would have been similarly screwed, I think. Or like, I wouldn't have been any better with that, I think.
I'm sure we won't see another game like Power Shovel anytime soon. And I'm sure we won't be playing another X68000 game anytime soon.
A console that is exclusive to Japan and looks like it's a PC.
Yeah, that's pretty normal. I grew up in the U.S., but I used to go back to China every 2 years, and those kind of consoles were pretty popular over there. They just have like I had a console that they looked like Famicom. Maybe it was a Famicom cartridge, but it wasn't a Famicom. It was just a PC. It had literally a keyboard, and on the sides had like Famicom control ports, and then you would slot in a Famicom card and play it. So.
Well,
yeah,
I was born the year after Super Mario 64 came out, so I have no idea what the heck you're talking about.
I was born in '98. I didn't know what
That's
a console
Ocarina
was.
of Time. You might be younger than Ocarina of Time.
I'm younger than a game that I play.
Yeah.
I mean, that's true. I play some Hedgehog games, so you know.
Yeah, I mean, sure.
Yeah, it was a very fun tournament.
For sure.
Thank you for running it.
Can we ban
Yeah?
you for that joke, please?
I know, I think that was just a genuine question. So, first things first, congrats, Vi. You lost, 3 games in the whole tournament? That's terrifying. No, like, I said from the start, given the right selection of games, I think any of, 4 or 5 people could have very easily taken this tournament, and so it's all the more impressive to come out on top of it. Secondly, we will definitely try to get some kind of casual group races going soon. We've been talking about it for ages. There is a quiz night happening next month at some point, hopefully. I need to actually finish writing questions for it, but we'll ignore that. So hopefully something between now and then, just to kind of fill in the gap during that time. And lastly, as, first and second place in the tournament, thoughts on the next one being co-op?
Oh my god, what? That is such a good idea. I love that.
I'm so down.
Okay,
Oh
good,
my
cool,
God.
good.
I'm curious if there's enough games. I probably have a few ideas, but yeah.
I feel like you could do specifically co-op games, but you could also do co-op in the sense of, okay, we're both going to play this game not knowing anything, and both players have to finish.
Yeah, and then
sure. And then if you can figure out like what the mechanic is, that
Yeah,
would be
share
very
information.
Yeah,
And it also just means that you're not stuck in on your own playing a terrible game. If you happen to roll like the worst game ever, you're not just sat there silently for however long. You have someone to kind of bounce off.
That's such a good idea. I love that.
think we might have to do that pretty soon.
Yeah, how do I suggest games?
Send them to me or FQ probably.
Also, make sure.
If you send them to
oh,
me,
go
I'll
ahead.
just pass them on to FQ anyway. So.
Yeah. Also, as I understand, you should have like a goal in mind and write like your own paste bin
Yes.
for it.
Mm.
Yeah, they don't all need a paste bin necessarily, but it's definitely helpful,
Yeah.
even if it's just start your timer here, end your timer here. Yeah. This has been an absolute blast to run, to watch. This has been... I'm glad people really dealt with this. I know it's something that a lot of people said they wanted to take part in and have never really found the time or found, like, the right communities for it and stuff, so I'm really glad we got an opportunity to do this. Yeah, hopefully we can bring a bit more nonsense in next time and get more power shovels and more Neon Genesis Evangelion and
Fun.
I just want to play more puzzle games. Damn it! I didn't even get
more
that many of them.
sure, more Serpent Fusion and
Yes, Serpent Fusion. Let's go. That was a great time. I liked
And
Serpent
Sonic
Fusion.
3D Blast.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this actually was the first tournament where I went back and played some of the games again, like even after doing the races. Like the Magical Girl game is just straight up a fun game. Like
Yeah.
it's really really good. And then Rainbow Islands, of course, is it's funny.
What's your favorite game that you got during the entirety of the tournament, Wyrm? Putting you on the spot.
I think it might be the Magical Girl game. Like,
Oh.
well, here's the real answer is Magical Poppin', because that game is amazing and it's the greatest game. But like 3 GDQ staff members run that game. Like it's just straight up. I know 4 of the 5 leaderboard people of that game, so I can't play it. I've watched the speedrun so many times, like in front of me.
That's the game that Yoshi you gave me to play through.
yeah, you would have
that
gotten
was-
it. It was like,
yeah.
nope, already done.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
my favorite. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, so was it like, otherwise it was Princess Lana, was that it? Was that the Magical Girl one you
Yeah,
meant?
Princess Lana. Yeah, that's right.
My favorite game, I think you can all tell, was the Pogo game. That was my absolute favorite thing in this whole tournament. Pogo game.
Which is funny because I didn't even do that badly in that game.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, neither of us did badly in any of the games that we played against each other, which is why we're in the finals, you know?
sure. I wanted, you know what game I really want to play, and maybe I'll just go back and figure out what that game was.
Yeah.
The one where you have to fly the paper airplane and hit your boss.
Oh, Winds of Revenge.
Winds of Revenge. Okay, I need to go play that game because that game looked really, really fun. I really hoped that I would roll some weird Unity game like that.
I know that when we've spoken about doing casual races and like kind of pick-up races between things and everything, a couple of people have said about specifically picking out games that they submitted. So we can, I can definitely do a little call for some stuff in that sort of style as well.
That would be fun because that helps curate a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
What was the other one? Oh, there was a shooting game that looked really fun. It looked like not Burnout Paradise, but it was. I never got a shooting game, I don't think.
The two that I remember distinctly were Mogi Jet, which was the one that looked like an old kind of almost like Newgrounds Flash game kind of thing. And Red Hot Vengeance, which was like the Hotline Miami clone, kind of.
Yeah. Red Hot Vengeance. That was the one
Yeah.
that I was thinking of. Yeah, that would have been fun. But I should have said Neon Genesis Evangelion. I
Someone had to
destroyed
like
everybody
it.
in that game. That game I won by like 20 minutes or something.
You got through the second fight on like the second try, and like nobody else got through it until you were done with the game.
Easy.
I enjoyed Neon Genesis. I submitted that to the list. I had a ton of fun with that.
It's like a bad N64 games, I think, is probably my where I would take the biggest lead in this group.
Yeah. I think my personal favorite game to play, by the way, was the like Catboy puzzle game, Cat Trap.
Oh yeah.
Where you had to
I
like.
never ended up playing that at all, or watching the thing. I gotta go back to it.
It was back in the groups, and I did commentary for it, and then as soon as that was done, they were playing like 3 games on that day, and the third one was Cat Trap. And as soon as it was done, they got to like stage 25 was their end goal, and I like hopped in a call, started streaming it, had to go through those 25, and then went through like another 30 stages before I stopped. Need to go back to it at some point.
Now it's running through my head. Imagine getting a straight step-by-step puzzle game in a co-op setting.
Yeah, you're both there trying to solve it like as quickly as possible, doing different.
Then you have to recall how you did it if the solution is long to tell like the other person, I guess, or something. I don't know, unless you try to sync up your steps or whatever. But like, wow.
I think there's potential. I'm just saying. I think there's a lot of potential.
How about games you're glad you dodged? I was so happy that I didn't have to play the crocodile game with tank controls. But
Croc is like infamous though.
I watched that and I was like, wow. And then there was the one section where you had to like climb up a vine, but the game doesn't make it clear that like I could see myself getting walled by that for like 10 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, the problem for me in this question is that I either played, commentated, or didn't watch. So, like, if I was around to watch it,
Okay.
I was good. I was also gonna shoot, like, I put a message in Restream to say, "Hey, I want to comment." So.
Oh, and then you ended up playing pretty much
So
every game you commentated, yeah.
Exactly. So there's not a whole lot of games that I actually watched and didn't play myself as well. So I don't really have a good answer to that question.
So
but I guess
I
I'm
think
yeah.
one that you did commentate but not play, and would have been my pick for as a game. I think it would have been fine. Playing it casually, great. But racing it looked like it would have been awful. Was Glitch Space? It was the like coding block game.
That was wacky for sure. But yeah. Right.
Did you actually have a pick at the end there as well?
No, I was trying to think if there's any that I did play, but I'm glad I didn't have to race them, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah.
Like as preparation. I think the game where you had like a jetpack and you were really tiny was
Mogi Jet.
Yeah, it was surprisingly like it's technically better than a lot of other games, but it's surprisingly just like really not fun in my opinion. Yeah, and then probably I mean I agree I wouldn't have liked to race Croc either. But that was I don't know. Most games were fine. I felt like that I calmed and played beforehand. Yeah.
If most of the games are fine, honestly, I feel like we did a pretty good job. If the games weren't terrible, all right, cool, good. like, as funny as it is to give people a terrible game and see how they get on with it, we do want people to enjoy their time and come back for the next one. So
Yeah.
worked out pretty nicely. We got that nice little awkward middle ground where it's like the games are fun with some flaws.
Yeah. I mean, I still enjoy racing a bad game if it's like over at some point. Like if I have to play 30 minutes of a bad game, there is an element to it that's like fun to like try to find the seams in a badly designed game or in a really hard game or something like that. There's something that's fun to that. I wouldn't enjoy playing them casually all the way to the end, but I might still enjoy the process of trying to figure out how to best approach a bad game.
Yeah, I mean, all the puzzle games that came up, I think, were not extremely frustrating, which if you get like a bad puzzle game, sometimes you run into that problem. There was a 3D puzzler that I saw Chimp playing. That
When you
one
push
looked
boxes or
it was during a race. I just remember that I think Chimp won that race. It was a 3D like pushing blocks around.
pushing the box.
Oh, that was Kaleidoscope, yeah.
Yeah, that one looked.
I like that game. I also I feel very good about this. I absolutely destroyed both of the participants in playing it previously. So
okay, but to be fair,
most of the games.
You were also the only person who found that game had a fucking reset stage button.
It's true. That's true.
Stealthed it away.
That's true.
This is why paste spins are useful, by the way. That one didn't say it.
Yeah. I mean, I think that was kind of an interesting thing as well. Like, how much do you tend to like? What things do you like? Decide that it's worth ignoring or whatever, and what things do you decide to engage with? I felt, for example, that watching the little tutorial sections, to bring it back to the shovel game that we played, what was a power shovel or whatever? Watching the little like intro cutscenes, they would like do the thing that you're about to do, and that would give me an idea of what I can do to make it easier on myself. And that's the kind of thing where like, yeah, sometimes you'll skip something and then be screwed because the other person has extra information. So yeah, that's true.